generally played at a leisurely pace. That may be true April through July, but in August and September, it's anything but. Every pitch can mean a game, and every game can mean a playoff spot. It's gut-wrenching and consuming, the highest of highs, then the lowest of lows. And as we come down the home stretch, would we really want it any other way?
Welcome to T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball. And here on the North Shore, the Pirates homestand continues as they try to even things up with the Cardinals following a one-run loss last night in Game 1. It's Game 2, Bucks and the Redbirds in National League Central Division action. Hi again, everyone, with Bob Walk. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Inspikowski will join us in just a little bit. Garrett Cole makes his second start since coming off the disabled list. And last time out against the Atlanta Braves, earned a no decision, but pitched very well.
Yes, he did. Right away, he was able to show us that the velocity was just fine. He was throwing the ball up there 96, 97 miles an hour. No problem with that. But I think what was even more important was the fact that he was able to locate that great fastball of his. When he does that, he gets a lot of these check swing strikeouts. Guys just have to start the bat so early they can't lay off it.
So Garrett Cole hasn't been around the big leagues very long, relatively speaking, but he's acquitted himself well against the St. Louis Cardinals. Tonight, his third regular season start, his fifth start against them overall.
Well, the Cardinals have been somebody that we have to beat in this division since he's been here. And you look at his numbers, he has been a big part of the success the Pirates had getting to the postseason last year and had that one big win and pitched well in the one game that he lost.
Garrett Cole looks to lead the Pirates to victory tonight in Game 2. He'll oppose Lance Lynn, who doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He's given up 7 of them, 6 on the road. But the Pirates have hit 9 home runs over the last 4 games. They're loving the long ball here in Pittsburgh. Bucks and Cards, first pitch coming up.
on Root Sports is brought to you by the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import. By Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Welcome back to the North Shore, PNC Park. Game 2 of this 3-game series with the Cardinals. They're all big from here on out. Just a month to go in the regular season. Clint Marmis coming out playing shortstop. He hasn't played there since he last started at the end of June. He's on the disabled list and had a long recovery. And now back out there giving Jordy Mercer a break tonight. And the Cole train, Garrett Cole, hopes to continue his good pitching. Mike Matheny's lineup for the Cardinals is brought to you by Honda. Matt Carpenter leading off. Colton Wong moves up to the 2 spot. Matt Holliday, then Matt Adams. Johnny Peralta, and then John Jay's had a hot bat. Last 20 games hitting .414. Had a clutch pinch hit base hit last night in the 7th inning. A.J. Pierzynski catches. Oscar Taveras plays right field, and the pitcher is Lance Lynn. Lynn batting 9th against Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole making that second start since that long layoff he had on the disabled list. That first one went very well. He looked perfectly healthy. There was no rust. He had his control. And that's really great news, not only for Garrett but for the Pirates. We need that valuable right arm of his to be at its best if we're going to catch those Brewers. It's not going to be easy.
Behind Garrett Cole tonight in the outfield, left to right, Marte, McCutchen, and Snyder. Harrison and Barmes at short. Walker, Alvarez, along with Russell Martin out there. The defense presented by Volvo. Pedro Alvarez at first base, and getting more and more accustomed to it, Bob. Each night he's out there.
I think he's going to like it once he really has spent any length of time out there. You're involved with everything. And no matter what happens in the infield, you're going to be part of it.
And at shortstop tonight, Barmes out there, and Clint certainly solid defensively. Told me yesterday that his mobility is good. He feels ready to go, and he hopes he can play with the bat as well, as he had a pretty decent run in his rehab starts with Altoona and Indianapolis. Jordy Mercer getting a well-earned night off, as he had started just about every game in Barmes' absence. So we're underway. Matt Carpenter takes ball 1 from Garrett Cole. Carpenter hitting .282. Walked twice last night, went 0 for 3 otherwise. Carpenter, one of the guys that Garrett Cole needs to focus on tonight. When you look at Carpenter and Matt Holliday combined against Garrett Cole, they're 8 for 13 with a home run, a double, and 2 runs batted in. Everybody else in the Cardinals 6 for 40 with a double and 1 RBI. So it's been Carpenter and Holliday that have done any damage, and the damage that they've done against Cole has been minimal anyway. You see the numbers Carpenter has against Cole: 3 for 7. And Holliday had the game-winning RBI last night. Here's the pitch to Carpenter, and that's outside. Two balls and 2 strikes. Garrett Cole 1-1 against the Cardinals this year. And the pitch.
Definitely has the velocity out right here with the first hitter. 98, 97. That good. Pitching against the Cardinals, considering how that went last year down the stretch for him, you've got to really have that adrenaline pumping here tonight for the home folks.
Right to Barmes, and there's 1 down. Positioned perfectly for Carpenter. One gone for the Cardinals in the top of the first inning. Well, the hard-throwing right-hander out of UCLA gets out number 1. Now facing Colton Wong, the second baseman. Wong hit 7th last night, had 2 hits. In fact, his hit in the 7th inning chased Liriano from the ball game. Pirates are up 1-0 at that point. Strike on the inside corner.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you kind of overlook. I think the control of that fastball, being able to move it to both sides. He's such a hard thrower, but the command of it is just as important for Cole as it is to anybody else. I think he likes the dirt there on the front of the mound. He must be slipping a little bit. He keeps going back trying to clean his cleats.
One ball, one strike pitch to Wong. Hit by him, 96. And it's 1-2. Check out the landing spot here in the Allegheny Health Network Supermall.
You see how his foot hit and then slid forward another couple of inches. That's something you really don't want to have happen. That plant foot comes down, you want it to stick.
Popped up to shallow left center, McCutcheon. Running catch, and there are 2 gone.
Yeah, sometimes it takes you a couple of hitters, maybe even an inning, to get a little depression dug out on the right there in the front to where your foot's going to land. That's all part of it. Getting the mound just like you want it early in a game, or getting used to what it's going to be like. They're not all the same. I mean, it is dirt, clay, water, sunshine.
Strike one to Matt Holliday. Holliday had the big hit ultimately in the 7th inning, a 2-run single. And got the Cardinals ahead 3-1 at that point. Pirates will get another run in the 9th, make it a 3-2 final. 2 strikes on Holliday. Jared Hughes, a very rough outing for him, unusually rough. Mr. Fix-It comes in and gets a ground ball out, gets out of the inning, but that wasn't the case last night. A rare miscue.
He got his ground ball, but it just happened to be just perfectly placed in that hole. Cost him 2 runs.
Francisco Liriano had 6+ shutout innings. Five for 6 for Holliday against Garrett Cole.
Liriano really had that good fastball going
He did.
last night, especially the first couple innings. He was popping it in there, using that, I think, more than I've seen him all year.
And it seemed like Russell Martin called for it quite a bit, more so than in the past, where he relied mostly on the slider and change. And Holliday chases one, and he goes down swinging. And Garrett Cole retires the Cardinals in order in the top of the 1st inning. Bucks coming out to face Lance Lynn. The 1st inning at PNC Park. Josh Harrison getting ready to do the honors and lead off tonight as we look at the Toyota starting lineup. Harrison back at the top of the order, then Travis Snyder, Andrew McCutcheon cleanup Neil Walker, the switch, hitting second baseman, bats fourth. Russell Martin fifth. Pedro Alvarez hitting sixth. Last 3 games, 4 for 10 with 3 home runs and 5 runs batted in. Marte batting seventh, Barmes eighth. And the pitcher Garrett Cole bats ninth against Cardinal right-hander Lance Lynn.
Lance Lynn throwing the low to mid 90s. And he loves the fastball. That is his #1 pitch. He will throw it all the time, and that's really what the guys have to do. They got to be ready to hit that fastball, but don't chase upstairs. Make him get it down into a better hitting zone. That letter high pitch is not a good pitch to be swinging at.
Lynn is 1-1 against the Pirates this year, 5-3 overall in his career with a .488 ERA. He's had 5 starts prior to tonight, 7 appearances. Lynn out of the University of Mississippi. He's set to face Josh Harrison, the all-star utility man who has settled into the role as the Pirates' third baseman. Swings at the first pitch and hits it toward the left field corner, carrying onto the track. Holiday there, and there is 1 out.
Looking fastball, first pitch, thinking, okay, if I get what I want, I'm going to jump on it, see if I can drive it somewhere, if not out of the ballpark, at least for extra bases, and perhaps just got underneath it a little bit. Maybe even out on the end of the bat, just a smidgen. I think he was too quick. That fastball didn't have the velocity that I think Lynn normally throws with, just 90 miles an hour.
A.J. Pierzynski doing the catching. Pierzynski was let go by the Red Sox and then picked up by the Cardinals shortly after Yadier Molina was injured. He and Tony Cruz have been sharing the catching duties. Veteran backstop A.J. Pierzynski in the starting lineup tonight. Cruz played last night. 1-1 to Travis Snyder. Snyder, a .264 hitter. 10 home runs on the year. He's got 32 knocked in. Last night, a tough night. He hit into 2 double plays. One of them came in the 8th inning with a man aboard. And he goes to left field, right to Holiday. 2 men out. Here's tonight's Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. The National League leaders in fewest home runs allowed per 9 innings. Top 2 guys will pitch in this series the next 2 days. Lynn and Wainwright, Kershaw, Ryu, and then Charlie Morton, 5th on the list. Out of the 7 home runs that Lance Lynn has allowed, 6 of them have come on the road. Charlie Morton will pitch Thursday in a rehab start in Altoona as Charlie makes his way back from a sports hernia. Pitch to McCutchen is in for a strike. Injury to Morton originally thought to be hip inflammation, but Charlie telling the media last week it was a sports hernia. 0-1. It's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kutch. Kutch at his 20th homer of the season last night in the 9th inning to lead it off on the first pitch he saw off of Cardinals closer Trevor Rosenthal. It's inside. Backed him up.
Not much velocity out of Lynn so far in this ball game. Not really what his average is. He's throwing the ball well below his average fastball to this point.
Catching steps back in. Here's the 2-1. Foul tipped into the glove of Pierzynski for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Andrew.
92. That's about even that's a little bit below his average, but that's a little bit more where he's going to be at. Normally probably 92, 94, and right in that range is where you're going to see him. There's the average of velocities.
2-2, and Kutch hits one up in the air to right field, playable for Tavares. And Oscar Tavares makes the catch, and Andrew McCutchen didn't look too comfortable after that swing. 3 up, 3 down for the Pirates. We'll head to the second. No score.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball.
Our scores, we head to the second inning, and Garrett Cole out there on the hill and examining that landing spot again that he seemed to have a little problem with in the top half of the first.
Well, there was a little discussion about what he didn't like and what they could do about it, so they fixed it for him. And able to get to work on it in between innings. I think it's just maybe a little too moist for him, and that's why with that clay and trying to dry it out a little bit is what it looked like to me.
So Cole ready to go. He'll face Matt Adams. Ball 1 to Adams. Adams went 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's series opener. As this one back. Spot seems to be better.
Yep. Even if it's not better, it will get better just pitching. It'll dig out a little bit. You get that little depression in there, which that alone will help the foot not move too much. A lot of times it's just getting used to. Now the mounds are way better than they were a few years ago as far as the way they're constructed, put together, a lot more consistent. But still, like I said last inning, it's dirt, it's clay, you get the sunshine to deal with. They're all going to be a little bit different, and you have to adjust to them occasionally.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, and Adams strikes out. Boy, over the last 9 road games, Matt Adams hitting about 140 for the Cardinals.
Now, that was a tough pitch to hit, staying up and away with him with the 97. Right now, it really appears early in this ball game that Cole is going to be on, and he has his good stuff.
See that foot stuck.
See the way his toes almost push up out of the shoe? That was a great shot.
Good shot from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Adams records first out of the Cardinals' second. Here's Johnny Peralta. The 0-1 pitch.
Kind of gives you an idea of the forces that are trying to push his foot forward. And that's why it's tough, and you got to have those good cleats and the good clay to stop it, because his foot is almost coming out of the shoe.
Two pitch up high, couldn't get Peralta to chase it. Peralta batting .266. He had the first hit off of Liriano in the 4th inning. Liriano had gone 3 2/3 of hitless baseball before Peralta reached on a single. Just inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cole held Atlanta to 2 earned runs and 7 innings pitched in his last start. Got a no decisions. Pirates would win it on a walk-off sacrifice fly, and out on strikes is Peralta. 3rd strikeout in a row for Cole.
And that kind of looked like a couple of those highlight strikeouts we were showing before the game during the open, where he sets this up with that big fastball, and the hitters, they have to commit early to their swing because he's throwing so hard, and then they look silly going after a breaking ball in the dirt.
He wanted the umpire to appeal right away.
Right away he's saying, hey, you swung, check.
There's John Jay, a guy the Pirates need to cool off. He has been the hottest hitter for the Cardinals for the last couple of weeks at least. 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. It was Jay's pinch hit single in the 7th inning that drove in Tony Cruz and tied the game at 1. He would eventually come around and score as well that inning. And he goes to the left side, foul.
He has always been tough for us to get out of there, ever since his first year. little late on that one. About 16 inches too late.
Jay has hit safely in 15 of his last 16 games. Hitting .414 in the month of August. Oh, good looking pitch right there.
That did look good. Looked like he caught the corner with a little backdoor breaking ball. Let's take a peek. Well, nope, it stayed outside.
And Russell did a great job framing it. He fooled everybody.
Fooled me.
Except for Sean Barber, home plate umpire. Count is full to John Jay. Barber behind the plate. Tony Randazzo at first. The crew chief, Brian Gorman, is at second. And David Rackley, the umpire, in back of third base. Payoff. Ball 4, and Jay is aboard. First base runner of the ball game. Garrett Cole not too happy about that particular sequence. Bucks host the Reds Saturday, 4:05. Make sure to stay after the game for Fan Jam featuring Gavin DeGraw live in concert, presented by Highmark. See him perform all of his hits like I Don't Want to Be, Not Over You, and more. To learn how you can watch the concert from the field, go to pirates.com/concerts. Big day on the North Shore on Saturday. Pitch to A.J. Pierzynski. Ball 1. One ball and no strikes to Pierzynski. Jay, the runner at first base. Defense shifted around to the right. And Pierzynski lifts this one in foul ground over by the Pirate dugout behind it.
It was somebody that throws as hard as Cole does. I wonder what how that affects their shifts, Pirate shifts on defense. Do they still shift but not go as far, or only shift on the certain type hitters and not on maybe a couple other guys, because they will modify things.
Pierzynski strike 2.
Yeah, that's why you see different teams shift us in different ways, is because everybody interprets that information a little differently. See Barber standing right behind the bag in that shot.
The pitch looked good, but Pierzynski took it.
Right at the very top, it could have gone Cole's way.
Foul down the right side. How about this guy? Last time he faced the Pirates was in a monumental moment, September 9th. Pierzynski. The Pirates had Garrett Cole on the hill in Texas. Pierzynski grounds out against Mark Melancon. Win number 82. Guaranteeing the first winning season since 1992. Pierzynski was the last out. Garrett Cole, the winning pitcher that day. Here he is pitching tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Pierzynski. Jay off first. Right on the outside corner, got him. Cole strikes out the side. He's got 4 punch outs in the game so far.
Speaking of the Pittsburgh Penguins, we are pleased to be joined by the new head coach, hired 2 months and 1 day ago. It's Mike Johnston. Mike, what has this experience been like here in the 2 months since you've been hired by the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Well, I've been in and out a little bit. One of my priorities after our development camp, which took place about a month ago, was to try and get out and see some of the players. So I traveled around, met with some of the guys. There was a few of the players that were here in Pittsburgh, so I got a chance to meet them, and then I traveled to quite a few guys' hometowns just to get a chance to talk to them, not about hockey things, but just about their background, get to know them a little bit better before our camp starts.
You know, Coach, arguably the two greatest players in the National Hockey League right now with Malkin and Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury and all this team. What excites you most about being the head coach of the Pens?
Well, really, as far as the style of play that we want to play an up-tempo style. We want to play a puck possession style. So when you mention those guys, with the exception of Fleury, you're talking about guys who can play that style of play. And Marc-Andre, when I met him as a goaltender, he's been the backbone of the team for a long time. He's such a key player. And I just really was interested in meeting him, getting to know his personality. He's the same as when I saw him on TV, when I heard him interviewed before. I was really impressed by him overall, and I know the guys really like him as their key goaltender.
You know, so you haven't had a chance to meet Clint Hurdle yet because you've been pretty busy and traveling around, and Clint's been coaching this ball club. But today, you spent the day with Coach Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. What was that experience like?
Well, they invited us in. I had inquired about a week ago to see if we could come over, and Mike and Kevin were great. They brought us in today. Rick Tocchet, Gary Agnew, myself. We had a chance to go into their meetings early in the morning as more large group, offense and defense, and then we broke off into smaller groups, and I went with the tight ends for their meeting just to see how their coaches break down the meetings on video, how they interact with their athletes, and then we went out on the field, both for their walkthrough and for their practice. So I was impressed by just how upbeat the environment was, how their staff brought us in and were accepting of us just hanging out for the day. And really our goal in it all was just to try and see how they teach, how they interact with their athletes, a little bit about their environment, and what we could bring back to our environment.
Coach, we wish you nothing but the best. Welcome to Pittsburgh, and thanks for a couple moments with us.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Tim?
Russell Martin hits one deep to right field. It's off the very top of the wall. Martin into second base with a one-out double. Just barely missing a home run.
There, you get it out to right field. You got to get it up over that Clemente wall. It's awfully high. And this ball really had the height to do it. Watching it as it got out there, I thought it was going to end up being in that first row. Didn't quite make it. It looked like it hit a fan's hand. You could see it. I thought I saw it deflect a little bit. Watch. Yep, just barely. It certainly looked like he was reaching over, though. I don't think that ball went. Maybe.
Well, Pedro
definitely hit his
Alvarez
hand.
We'll get a chance at it now. And Pedro fouls this one off. Robbie visiting with Mike Johnston. And upcoming Penguins schedule. Preseason games on Root Sports. It'll be an 8 o'clock tilt at Minnesota against the Wild. October 1st against the Red Wings. 7:30. No balls and one strike. Pitch inside. So Martin picking up the double, his 15th of the year. Alvarez hit one that cleared the Cardinal bullpen last night, went into the Pirate pen. There's a strike. Pedro laid off the pitch, but called a strike, and it's 1-2.
And trying to pick up his velocity a little bit. That one hit 93. It's more like where I think he normally is when we see him.
Lance Lynn looking in at A.J. Pierzynski for the sign. And the 1-2. Pedro goes to left field, playable for Holiday. Now 2 men out. Pirate fans, let's see how you root for the Bucks. Be our AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us the most unique ways you raise the Jolly Roger, the fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, or how you display your Pirate pride. Simply submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto for a chance to have them shown during our telecast tonight. Maybe she's taking a picture to show us. The old school Pirates jersey on. So Russell Martin at second base, 2 men out. Starling Marte a chance to get him in. All 1 to Marte.
Well, we saw last night a pretty good pitcher's duel between the 2 starters. It looks like that might be what we're looking at tonight. So every opportunity like this, when you get a guy in scoring position, you'd love to be able to cash it in. You don't know how many chances you're going to get. Either team is going to have to work it like that.
And with Lynn, he's allowed 2 runs or fewer in 8 of his last 9 starts. So he's been good. Been very good. That's why they call it the big leagues, though. Everybody's usually pretty good. I'll tell you, a 3-0 count on him. His 1-out double has him at second base. Walker has grounded out. Alvarez flied out to Holiday and left. Strike call to Marte. Over his last 20 games, he's hitting .365. 6 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs. Clint Barmes waiting to get up there. Hasn't been to the plate in a while in a big league game. After the groin injury he suffered in late June. Ball 4. Barmes get a chance now with 2 on and 2 out. First walk issued by Lance Lynn.
Man, Lynn might have just been working around Marte. They know how hot he has been swinging a great bat, and they also know that Barmes hasn't been to the plate in a long time, as you were just saying. So not wanting to give in to Marte, trying to stay on the edges, take their chances with Barmes is completely understandable. Hopefully Clint can make that strategy backfire on him.
He's got 7 hits in his last 21 big league at bats. Runners off first and second. The pitch, and Barmes fouls it off for strike 1.
And then picking up that velocity with runners on base. Starts off Barmes with a 94. I think that might be the best of the night. Trying to reach back, get a little extra. See, he likes the pine tar and the rosin. He's got a nice little spot there on the hat going.
Yeah, interesting.
Nothing wrong with that.
None of that gets on the ball, does it?
No, it's just helps you get a little bit better grips. All hitters use it. Why can't the pitchers?
0-1. Swing and a miss. Nothing at 2. I want to ask a hitter next time the same question. See if I get a different answer.
No, okay. See what they say.
You never had anything out there with you?
Oh yeah, I did.
I know you did. Nothing at 2 to Barmes.
Doesn't show up much on the black though.
No. 1 and 2. And the injury to Barmes, a left groin strain. And just frustrating when physically you're just not able to do what you're accustomed to. Had to sit out for a while, and it was a period of time he just had to do nothing but rest. 2 and 2.
The back of his hat's got looks like kind of that powdery or stuff from the rosin bag. And if you wear the same hat all the time, it's going to end up looking like that no matter what. You're touching it all the time. You got rosin all over your hand.
Full count to Barmes.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is, if you're putting slippery stuff on the ball, I mean that's a different subject. But you're getting a little bit of a a better grip on the baseball. You're still throwing fastballs, sliders, curveballs. You aren't throwing an illegal pitch. At least that's how I rationalize this to myself.
Yeah, Michael Pineda, the Yankees, got in trouble for bringing Pine
Oh, yeah,
it's
against the rules.
3-2. Fouled back with runners on the move. He did it, was told not to do it, went out, did it again, got thrown out of a game.
Well, see, that's not very smart. You've got to be stealthy. Or messy, either one.
Or messy.
I think that's an illegal substance she's got on her cheeks.
Payoff pitch coming to Barmes. Inside, ball 4, and the bases are full of Bucks.
Well, he pitched around, I thought, Marte to go after Barmes. He couldn't get it done. Now he's got Cole up there, but Cole's not a typical pitcher that you look at as being, okay, I got an out here. Cole's going to fight you. You might strike him out, but he's going to put up a battle.
He's got the best batting average among the pitching staff at .222. He's 6 for 27. He likes this part of the game a lot. There are some pitchers who might not care for it as much as others, but Cole loves to battle, loves to compete, and this is all part of it.
He loves to play baseball is what Cole likes to do. Everything, fielding the pickoff throws, everything about the game he enjoys. He likes just the competition. And this right here is competition.
Takes a strike.
Give him a little J-Hay toe tap in the bat. Trying to get a little of that toe tap magic.
Chance to help his own cause early in the ball game. Bottom of the second inning, Garrett Cole with a 0-1 count, bases loaded. Swings and fouls it back.
Nice hack. Now he is definitely in the hole, 0-2, and got to protect.
Russell Martin is the runner at third base. Starling Marte at second, and Clint Barmes at first. Back-to-back walks issued to Marte and Barmes after Martin's double with 1 out. Oh, 2 pitch. Cole's first major league hit was a 2-run base hit last year. 23 pitches so far this inning for Lance Lynn. One-two. A comebacker. Lynn got it in the heel of the glove. Throws it to Adams, and the Pirates will leave him loaded. We'll go to the third at PNC Park, scoreless.
Is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first. By the Chevy Impala and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. 1935, player-manager Pie Traynor carried the Bucks to a 10-2 win over the Giants. Traynor went 5 for 5, hit a grand slam, and drove in 6 runs. That grand slam was also the last home run of the Hall of Famer's career.
He always had good numbers, though, against Woody Johnson.
Did he?
He always.
Is that so? Well, he must have done well because they named a field after him up in North Park. Pie Traynor Field's up there.
Well, a lot of things that named after Pie Traynor. Yeah. One of the absolute all-time greats.
It is Pup Night tonight. Today is National Dog Day, by the way. And on National Dog Day, the canines here with their owners, or vice versa. Dogs taking their owners to the park tonight.
During batting practice, it was Dog Day afternoon.
Here's the pitch to Tavares, and he backed out of the way. Maybe a little bit more than he had to, but that was high heat at 96. Easy for me to say, though. I wasn't standing in there.
Yep.
Pops this one up, and Harrison with room. Right near Jose Oquendo, the third base coach. Harrison puts it away, and the Cardinal right fielder is out, 1 away for the Cards in the third.
Got a nice letter from George Kopp today from Tyrone, Pennsylvania. Said a lot of nice things about Pirates and Root Sports. Great. That they really enjoy watching Andrew McCutcheon and Clint Hurdle. He and his wife Kathy and daughter Julie probably sitting at home watching right now. Thanks for the letter, George.
I cleaned out the mailbox recently, and I actually had to have Zach, our stage manager, translate a letter for me. Did a good job. That French bulldog right there, right? Front row. Lance Lynn fouls this one away.
How do you know it's French?
Because he
you just know.
Told me. Oh yeah.
Well, you speak French, so that makes sense.
Yeah. He's a chien in French. Chien's dog. That's a French bulldog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or a Boston Terrier. It's hard to tell with the pipes in front. But Lance Lynn strikes out. And there were 2 down quickly for the Cardinals. Free Shirt Friday coming up Friday night, 7:05. The Reds are in town. First 25,000 get a Pedro Alvarez shirt, the El Toro T-shirt, thanks to People's Natural Gas. Plus, it's the block party on Federal Street before the game. Live local music and an alumni appearance by Big Daddy. Rick Rush will be out there. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. El Toro back to swinging the bat like El Toro. Carpenter, the leadoff man, takes a strike.
Yeah, things seem to be coming into place, giving, I think, everybody a lot of hope. This is going to be a real good September coming up. You get, of course, Pedro, the reigning home run king in the National League, starting to hit home runs again, and Cole is back firing BBs up there. And those two things we haven't had in a while. It's got to be a big lift for the team.
McCutcheon, healthy enough, he says.
Getting better every day. It's just a kind of a slow process when you have a broken rib.
Neil Walker's back seems to be feeling very well. He missed some time due to that problem. 2-1 pitch. There's a strike. And also don't forget the appendicitis that Neil had this year. Had to have his appendix out. So missed some time due to that as well. And Barma's back. I asked him today, are you 100%? He said, look around the room. Who is 100% at this time of year? Two balls and 2 strikes to Matt Carpenter. Fouled back. Carpenter lined out sharply to Barmas his first time up. Last Lynn with the strikeout for the second out this inning. Pirates loaded the bases on him in the second, but couldn't push anything across. Still 2-2. Forget a day game tomorrow. 12:35, a matinee. Pirates and Cardinals will wrap up this series. Day off on Thursday. And Friday the Reds come in for 3. 7:05, 4:05, and 1:35. Jeff Locke pitching tomorrow afternoon against Adam Wainwright. 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. Hangs in there. Seven pitch at bat so far. Carpenter continues to battle Cole. Trying to work the outside. This one in the air to center field and deep, going back McCutchen, and at the wall he makes the catch. Oh my goodness, what a play by Andrew McCutchen. He does it again.
And that one couldn't felt great either. Slipping into that wall with that full rib cage.
Touch right up against the wall. Garrett Cole loves it. Alone now after teammates and coaches came over to congratulate him on that spectacular catch up against the center field wall off the bat of Matt Carpenter.
Well, you could tell by his reaction that this had to jar those broken ribs. Maybe had to stop for a second, take a deep breath. But he's all right.
Yeah.
Cole's happy.
The second of 3 innings that Cole retired 3 in a row. Now Harrison, top of the order leading off, takes a strike. In fact, Super Russell Martin went over to McCutchen and bowed in respect in front of him.
Well, when Super Russ does that, that's pretty meaningful.
Fly ball, shallow center. John Jay retires Josh Harrison. Harrison 0 for 2.
It's always great to watch the way these guys interact with each other. No matter what is going on with the team, whether it's a 5-game losing streak or 5-game winning streak, they're all about each other. They're all about the team.
Well, talking about streaks, Clint Hurdle was asked an interesting question today by one of the sports writers in town. Said, you haven't had a winning streak of more than 4 games this year. You've had the one long losing streak, but all the other ones haven't been more than 4. He said, what do you make of that? And Clint said, all that means to me is that we have one coming. Meaning a long way.
Absolutely. I mean, normally you go through a year, you get a little of everything. You'll get a losing streak. You also get that winning streak. And if it comes in September, it's pretty nice.
Best time of the year to have one.
Nothing wrong with say putting 7, 8 in a row together. It'd be special right about now.
He went on to talk about it happening to him before. In fact, it was right around, maybe around now in 2007, very late August. Last couple of days of August, this Colorado Rockies started a streak where they won 20 of 21. And appeared to be out of it at one point in August, but then continued on, ended up going on to the World Series. Carpenter makes the catch, and Snyder is out. 2 gone for the Pirates in the 3rd. Well, Russell Martin is known as Super Russ to his teammates, and on a special edition of Inside Pirates Baseball, you'll find out why. Some of it's obvious, like his strength and accuracy behind the plate, but there's more to Martin's talents both on and off the field. Explore them all on Inside Pirates Baseball. Super Russ tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Carries that skateboard on the plane.
Takes it everywhere. Yep.
You
see him coming down the tunnels no matter where. Here, on the road, always skateboards into the clubhouse.
Two outs, 1-1 the count to Andrew McCutchen. Kutch fly to right field in the 1st. Kutch has struggled against Lance Lynn. Coming into the game, 138 average against Lynn. He's now 4 for 30 against him. Trying to change that around as he hits this one up in the air, foul to the right.
Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because Kutch is such a good fastball hitter. Guys that throw hard, mid-90s. I mean, he turns them around. Something has to be about Lynn's delivery. It's kind of a low arm angle. Got to be something about it that Kutch just does not pick up the fastball as quickly as he does on most guys to have numbers like that.
One, 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, trying to come in on the hands. Struck him out. Pirates gone in order. And we'll head to the 4th inning. Still scoreless at PNC Park on a pup night.
Shannon, what was your favorite high school football memory?
My favorite high school football memory was playing in the state championship in December of 2003. So that was my senior year and we made it all the way to the state championship, and unfortunately we lost in double overtime, but certainly one of the most memorable football moments for me.
Many people that remember the Whitfield Championships, that was known as the snow game that Neil Walker played. A lot of good memories for Neil Walker here playing high school sports in Pittsburgh. Tim and Bob, and any questions for Twitter Tuesday? The hashtag is Bucks Tuesday. Next week we'll have another guest when we come to you from St. Louis.
Maybe a tweet from a well-dressed canine. A lot of them out there tonight. Pine Richland High School lost in double overtime to Manheim Central in that football game. The IAA title game. Colton Wong, the batter. And he takes a strike. About the outfits of some of those dogs tonight so far. Pretty good.
If you're going to come to the ball game, you got to dress up a little bit, huh?
I think so.
I mean, that's kind of par for the course for all the humans that come. And we see all kinds of outfits all the time. Might as well have the dogs dress up.
He went to the sign store. Let me down, let me down.
Oh, he is excited. He's at the game, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. I think he wants a hot dog. Go get him a hot dog. What's that little area in the back there with the?
You got to go check it out.
Yeah. Wood chip area there.
Go check it out. Let me know. 2-2 fouled off. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Let's go back to the 2003 PIA State Finals. Neil Walker wearing number 22 for the Rams of Pine Richland. 76 total yards, a touchdown, lost by a point in double overtime in the snow game.
That looked like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Harrison on the run. Oh, what a play by Jay Hay. He just went and got it.
All day.
A lot of hang time on that foul ball by Colton Wong. And Jay Hay makes the play.
You know, not an easy play. You're going down there. You're not really sure about where you're at. You're not sure where Marte is. But you have to stay focused on the ball. You're running as hard as you can. Nice play.
Wong is out. He's 0 for 2. And now Matt Holliday, a strikeout victim in the first, is up again. They've got a dog wash out there.
You got to cool your feet down. That's looks like the dog is doing the ice bucket challenge.
I think you're right.
That's a French what?
It's
Belgian mountain dog.
It's close to France from Belgium. Next door neighbor.
Got to cool your dogs down.
Ground ball to Walker. 2 down. Dog days of the summer just about done as we get to the end of August. Back to school. I know Walker's alma mater goes back tomorrow, Pine Richland. Many other schools have been going back Monday, today, continuing throughout the week. I wonder if they'll wear those hats to school tomorrow. Should show their pirate pride and then send us a picture. Hashtag Bucks fan photo. We'll see. Adams struck out swinging to lead off the second inning. He's 0 for 1. Watch out. Clanged one off a post down there. And it's 0 and 2. Cardinal fans in attendance tonight. Nothing and 2. The 2-strike pitch coming from Garrett Cole to Matt Adams. 1 and 2. Adams was telling me last time we were in St. Louis, Bob, about playing high school baseball against the Reds catcher Devin Mesorakos from Punxsutawney. So they had to play against each other in high school. Must have had some slugfests, those two high school teams going at it. There's Adams from Phillipsburg.
I wouldn't want to see Adams with an aluminum bat.
No.
I think he could maybe give one a ride, huh?
Cole's 1-2. Strike 3 call. The third 1-2-3 inning out of 4. Cole with another punch out. Watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. No score, bottom of the fourth inning at PNC Park with Bob Walk and Robbie Ince-Mikowski. I'm Tim Neverett. Glad you're watching us, no matter where you are. As Neil Walker gets set to lead off against Lance Lynn. Walker so far 0 for 1. He grounded out to Colton Wong at second base in the second inning. First pitch up and away for ball 1. Lynn has made 91 career starts for the Cardinals, including tonight. In his previous 90 starts, the Cardinals record is 58-32, so he's kept his team in a lot of games. He has won nearly double the games that he has started. Well, they've lost, I should say, not that he has started. 3-0 to Walker. Mike Matheny behind the post there, the manager, National League All-Star manager this year. 3-0, that's ball 4. 4-pitch walk, and the Pirates have the leadoff man aboard. Prior to the game today, the Pirates and Root Sports got together. Remember, earlier in the season, the Root Sports Pirates Charities Auction, Operation Troop Appreciation, the Veterans Leadership Project of Western Pennsylvania, and the Wounded Warriors Project received $80,000 each raised through the Pirates Charities on Root Sports Auction. So, great work by you, the fans, in being generous and donating. And great causes being helped out immensely by the donations today. It's all downhill now with the school year starting, right?
That's right. Well, here we are in one of those situations before with the tight pitchers duel where it's an opportunity. You have that leadoff walk. you feel pressure that you got to do something whenever opportunity. Leadoff walk often leads to a run.
You got your number 5 hitter trying to bunt.
Well, he was bunting for a base hit, I'm sure. I mean, Carpenter playing very deep at third base. He just thought he could maybe get one down in that grass just fair and kind of jog it down to first base and start the inning with 2 guys on.
Russ takes low, 1-2. Russell Martin leads all National League players with runners in scoring position. Right now, Walker's at first base, but he's got a 382 average and does lead major league catchers in on base percentage at 414. Lays off that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Walker off for first base with Lynn paying attention to him over his left shoulder. Russ got a good hack into that one. Stays alive with a foul ball.
That one boring in on him a little bit. See with that low arm angle that Lynn has, he can really get that ball to dip right inside on the right-handers occasionally.
And now the 2-2.
A 3/4 delivery with that angle of the arm. But that puts a little bit of side spin on the ball. It's not that traditional type backspin when you're coming over the top, and that'll give you the movement on the fastball.
Alvarez waiting on deck. Walker at first base, full count, nobody out. Neal goes, and Russ hits it into right field. Walker will turn second and hit for third. Great job of hitting behind the runner by Martin, and now with nobody out, the Pirates have runners at the corners.
Now this is the situation you like to get into when you get that leadoff walk. Do something with it. And you're starting the runner just trying to stay out of a double play. Then throws a fastball away. And it's really a nice job by Martin. Trying to protect. He's in that 2-strike area. Sees that ball away from him. There it goes.
Walker at third base, Martin over at first, and Pedro Alvarez at the plate with an RBI chance.
That last time up, hit one out toward left field.
Speed pitch at 83, offside. Couldn't get Pedro to chase it. His 18th home run of the year last night. That was when he won. Foul tipped it into the glove of Brzezinski. 1 ball, 1 strike to Pedro. One ball, 2 strikes.
Trying to work him upstairs these last 2 pitches. You're trying to throw the ball by him or get that pop up straight out, but it's kind of a fine line when you work up there trying to get the pop fly. Instead you might get the fly ball, the sack, which will score a run. A sacrifice fly.
Now the 1-2. Outside corner called, strike 3.
Ball looked like it was a little too far out, maybe a couple inches or so, but then gets the call. Yeah, just a little off the plate.
Pedro looks back at the umpire almost in disbelief.
I mean, at this point, there's nothing you can say. You can get into an argument, but what's that going to accomplish? You got to take your medicine. later in the ball game, then you maybe put up more of a fuss. Right now, you probably not want to do that. Maybe not a very good idea. Just maybe say you disagree and walk back and end it at that.
Starling Marte walked in the second inning. He's got 2 on and 1 out. And it hits him. And he'll go down to first base, and the bases will be loaded.
He always gets hit up there. That's a spot where he doesn't hit the ball very well. That upper right-hand corner of the strike zone. You have a lot of pitchers will try to throw him there, and when that happens, the ball is going to run in occasionally and catch him. See, he started the hands forward, left them right there, and the ball is really not even that far inside. If he doesn't move, the ball misses him clean. But as he starts his swing, he actually moves his arm and hands right into the path of the baseball.
It's the 15th time he's been hit by a pitch. That's second in the National League. The only guy who's been hit more times is in center field for the Cardinals. John Jay, he's been hit 16 times. And now Clint Barmas, the 8th hitter, with 1 out and the bases full. Second time the Bucks have loaded the bases in 4 innings against Lance Lynn. Had him loaded in the second, came up empty. Strike 1 to Barmas. Barmas was the back end of back-to-back walks in the second inning following Marte. No score. Pirates half of the 4th inning. And Barmas, a ground ball toward third. Carpenter to second for 1, back to first. Safe is Barmas. Walker scores, and the Bucks on the board. It's 1-0.
Yeah, that ball not really a double play ball. Jammed in real bad. Didn't hit it very hard. The Cardinals did the best they could do, but not going to get 2 out of that one very many times. You see the ball not getting out there, and it wasn't even a ball where you could come home and try to stop the run there. The only thing he could do was throw that ball to second base for that force out.
Barnes getting down the line okay. So Martin at third base and Garrett Cole a swing and a miss. 2 on and 2 out for the Pirates. One is chopped toward third base, and Carpenter throws on to first to get it. Pirates get a run. They leave 2 on 1 hit. After 4 full, Pirates 1, Cardinals nothing. producer for the Pirates, a night off tonight with his wife Christy, celebrating their 8th anniversary with 4 different hashtags. MLB.TV is celebrating an anniversary today, too. It's 12th. You can get MLB.TV today for only $12 for the remainder of the season. Visit MLB.TV today. Dave probably got Christie MLB.TV for an anniversary gift.
I would imagine so. That would be a great anniversary gift. Yeah. You know, I would think that that's probably pretty popular.
That is the perfect anniversary gift.
Absolutely.
Like today.
I'm going to remember that for next time.
On the 13th anniversary. Maybe the 17th anniversary. Yeah, that'll have more meaning to you for being number 17.
Had a lot of numbers. 4 to be exact.
Johnny Peralta leads off for the Cardinals. Takes inside ball 1. 1-0 Pirates. Top of the 5th. Peralta struck out swinging in the second, and Nicola struck out 6 through the first 4. And gets behind him 2-0. Cole would like to stay ahead of the Cardinals in the next couple of innings. The Cardinals do not score a lot of runs late. Yes, they did have 3 runs in the 7th inning last night, but that is unusual for them. Point Park University strike zone showing that one. Caught that corner. 2-ball, 1-strike count. John Jay on deck. And another strike to Peralta. It's 2-2. Jay walked his first time up. Jay had the big hit in the 7th inning last night, helping to that 3-run inning. Ground ball to first base. Pedro is there.
By the way, Jay hits us. I'm really happy about that first out. You want him coming up there with nothing going on, and preferably with 2 outs, but 1 out now. Pedro, a little shuffle. If you can take it yourself, always do so. Save that pitcher a few steps and an exchange. Even if it's just a real simple toss, every now and then something like that could get messed up. If you can easily get to the bag, just go ahead and do it yourself.
Pedro getting used to the different glove too at first base. Had to borrow one at first. He's breaking in one of his own now. He's got now belongs to Neil Walker, who Walker's right near him. 2 strikes on Jay.
Now this is what you call hard breaking slider. No chance to even tick that ball. This stuff is just so good. Amazing arm.
Down on strikes, a foul tip. Strikeout number 7 for Cole.
Take a look again. Is it able to snap that slider in there?
Cole faced the left-handed hitting catcher A.J. Pierzynski. Pierzynski struck out looking in the second. He will take a strike here. It's 0-1. Good looking pitch. And strike 2.
I don't think it was where Russell wanted it. He was set up outside. He was looking for some kind of a backdoor type pitch, but that's why he had the backhanded. It kind of made it look like it was more inside than it was when it actually had the plate.
0-2 to Pierzynski. Hit him on the elbow pad. And Clint Hurdle might come up the steps here and ask the umpire if he didn't get out of the way. It looked like he stuck his arm out, actually. Martin questioning Sean Barber perhaps about the same thing. And Clint might want to ask Barber to get some help on this one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he stuck his elbow out. Yeah, you saw him. He stuck his elbow right out there. But I mean, it doesn't happen in slow motion, though. It's just not that easy for the umpire to see that. It's absolutely just a split second, and it didn't move it much. Maybe he only moved an inch or so out there. Now watch how quick this happens. I mean, he certainly didn't move out of the way, but he only moved forward maybe an inch or so.
Oscar Tavares now up, the right fielder. Russ holds it there, hoping to pick up a strike, but called ball one. And you saw right after the pitch hit Przinsky on the elbow pad as Russ went to throw the ball back out to Cole. You could see the head of the umpire shaking no back and forth. Martin, I'm sure, asked him immediately, hey, didn't he stick his arm up?
No, he did. He moved it out there. Well, it wasn't much, but we could see that he did.
Well, I guess if there's a way to steal first base, he's found it. Guy's been doing that for a long time, though.
There's a way to stop that.
How?
That's a little old school.
Yeah. You want to say?
You know, basically, it's kind of like you oblige somebody. If they want to get hit, then all right.
Oh, I see. Just help them out.
Yeah. Except you're not necessarily going to hit them in that elbow pad.
I see.
Might be someplace else. But that stops people from sticking that elbow pad in front of pitchers.
Tavares takes ball 2. See where it was. Yep,
a little high.
Up, yeah.
A little high.
You're going to watch your elbows, Oscar.
No pad. He moved out of the way. See that?
2-2. That's slowing in. And now the count full. 3-2.
Oh, wait a minute. No, he does have a pad on, doesn't he? It's just his is red, the color of his sleeve.
That's a wristband.
Oh, no, it's not.
I mean, Przinsky wears something that resembles a hockey elbow pad.
Obviously,
it
works well because after it hit him in the arm, he didn't even react to it.
Yeah, that looks like a hockey pad right there. So 2 outs, a 3-2 count on Tavares. Przinsky will get a big lead. Pedro playing back. Payoff pitch from Garrett. There goes Przinsky, and a ground ball off of Cole right to Walker. Throws on to first to get him. Cole walking off the field like nothing ever hit him. A 1-4-3 putout ends the Cardinal half of the 5th. in front. Let's look at this last play.
Hitting good, but I just love the fact, and that tells you a little more about the way Cole plays this game. He did not want to show anything as he walked off. That ball got him pretty square. See the way he threw his glove out there like that?
Seems all right. Oscar Taveras thrown out 1-4-3. Jay Hay up for the third time. He leads off the Pirate half of the fifth. It's the bunt. And bunt's foul. Strike one to Jay Hay. Fly deep to left field in the first inning. Flied out to center in the third. You can't wait to get back out there.
I just don't think he's really happy about getting a.
Jay Hay hits this one well to left field. Going back, Holiday to the wall. It's gone! Home run, Josh Harrison!
Cole's leg feels better now. That first time, first at bat of the game, he tried to go up there, look first pitch fastball. He was going to ambush one. Well, he did here. He was looking fastball inside, got it. He hit it hard. What a player he has turned out to be.
He caught the ball.
Great catch.
Yeah. That's one to remember. Travis Snyder takes the ball. Jay Hay all day, all night. It's been Jay Hay all season. Does it again. Home run number 12. Lance Lynn has given up just one home run at Busch Stadium this year. Of his 8 home runs, 7 of them have come on the road.
Everybody in that lineup loves to hit those fastballs.
Snyder pops this one up right side. Matt Adams in foul ground will make the catch, and there's one out. Travis is 0 for 3. Second time he's flying out foul. Matt Holliday backing up to the wall. He's had experience with that wall in the past here. Not his favorite left field wall to play.
That's right. He hates puppies. He hates puppies. I'm surprised that more people don't realize that. He sleeps with a nightlight on because he's afraid those puppies are going to come get him.
The Mets a couple of weeks ago started doing that with Hunter Pence of the Giants. Somebody caught on. A couple of Beagles. .308 the average for McCutchen. He's 0 for 2 tonight, and a K and a 9. It's kind of a dog night for McCutchen so far. Strike out, fly out to 9. This time hits it up in the air again to right center. Tavares is there. Kutch is 0 for 3.
We talked about it last time, but for some reason, Kutch does not get to Lynn's fastball like the other guys can. Has a tough time with Lynn's pitching.
Jay Hay with his 12th home run of the year. 73 pitches for Lance Lynn. 2-0 Bucks. 2 outs, and Walker takes a ball. He was 0 for 1. 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. I think Jay Hayes' approach is he just looks for one pitch, fastball.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, I know it is. I've asked him. And that's what he's told me. He said, I look fastball every time. Try to adjust to a breaking pitch if that's what I get, but he never gets off the fastball.
8 of his 12 home runs have come on fastballs this year. .3-0 to Walker. Walker looking for a hit last night. Didn't get one. Went 0 for 4. 0 for 5 in the series so far. And this one flared to left field. That ball is foul. Just had too much slice. Matt Garza look-alike.
Yeah, really.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Neil Walker.
Brewers out on the West Coast. So it's going to be late figuring out what they're going to do tonight. Out in San Diego.
Walker fouls it back again. Well, Brewers won again last night. Pirates could use some help from the Padres tonight.
And the Mets and the Rockies.
The Rockies. Mets playing Atlanta and winning right now on the 5th, 3-1. The Rockies and Giants will start in San Francisco later. 3-2. Walker to right field. That ball is foul. Neil hanging tough against Lance Lynn. Walker's average at PNC Park this year, 295. He's done well at home. Again, the payoff. And Walker belts this one to right center for a hit. Took 8 pitches, but Walker won that battle. 2-out single for Neil. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
I'm upset about what happened. He sure loves to work above the belt, doesn't he? When we show the strike zone, always a big cluster up there. See why outfielders don't play the infield?
Yes, I see that. Walker aboard for the 2nd time tonight, and Russell Martin, who is 2 for 2, a double in the 2nd, a base hit in the 4th. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Pirates have 10 home runs over their last 4+ games. And Martin to right field, a base hit. 3 for 3 for Russ. Walker heading for 3rd. Pirates with runners on the corners and 2 men out.
Yeah, Martin at that time just fighting one off. Well, just a hair actually off the plate inside. Hit right about the junction on the bat where the yellow stops. And right there on the color change. That's pretty close to the hands, but still got the hit. Fans are up and at it right now. They want a little insurance fund coming in. Extend that lead. That's always a key to any ball game. Heck, we talk about it almost every night that once you get a lead, you can't be satisfied. Right now, Cole just keeps mowing them down, but you never know. You have to get an extra run every now and then. Keep the momentum going your way.
Pedro's 0 for 2 tonight. Strike one to Alvarez. Struck out looking on a pitch that was well outside last time. This time he got one down the middle. Center cut. Just missed it.
One more right in the same spot. I think he'll miss this one. Go right back at him. Got that one lumping away that time.
Nothing in 2 to Pedro. 2 men out, 2 on. Russell Martin with his third 3-hit ball game of the season is at first base. Neil Walker over at third. Lance Lynn set. 0-2. Popped up. Foul ground for the catcher Krasinski. And Pedro is out. Pirates leave 2. They get 1 on the home run by Josh Harrison. And it's 2-0 after 5. Jay Hayes' 12th home run of the year. Give the Pirates an extra run. Some changes now in the outfield. Jose Tabata, who was back with the Pirates yesterday after being in AAA for a while, is in right field. Starling Marte has moved from left field over to center field, with Travis Snyder moving from right field to left field, and Andrew McCutchen is out. The Pirates have taken Andrew McCutchen out of this ball game and made this catch earlier, or rather this is the swing, beg your pardon, looked a little bit uncomfortable after taking that cut. And then this was off the bat of Matt Carpenter, crashes into the wall and doubles over for a bit. Took his time coming in too from the outfield, running into the dugout. Took him a little while to get in.
No, there's nothing to do but speculate. We really don't know anything at this point. We'll just have to wait and see what we hear and hope for the best. That maybe it's just a little soreness that go away by tomorrow.
1 ball and 1 strike to the Cardinal pitcher Lance Lynn, who leads off for St. Louis in the 6th. Broken bat, foul ball, and it's 1-2. So
got a little blood there on his back of his pants, it looks like. cut himself or something? Maybe on the thumbsy right there.
Yeah.
He's been bleeding. I used to cut the back of my thumb occasionally. Your fingernail?
He's got it on the side of his pants as well as the back. Strikeout number 8 for Garrett Cole. And there is one out in the Cardinals' half of the 6th inning. Let's go back to our Root Sports studios right now for this game break. Thank you very much, Rob. One out here, Matt Carpenter, the batter. Keeping an eye on what's happening with Atlanta. And then later on with the Brewers and the Giants. Those results matter as we look at game number 132 tonight. 30 to play in the regular season. Pirates out of the wild card by a game and a half as of this moment. Chasing the Cardinals, who are solidly in that number 1 spot. Braves a half game behind the Giants.
For the time being, I mean, there's a lot to play. It's going to be very interesting to watch all these teams how they go down the stretch. You got to think, don't you, Tim, it's going to be that last week again?
It could be because again the Pirates play the Braves 4 times head-to-head in Atlanta in the last week of the season. Could be an enormous series. And the pitch is high and outside. 3-1 to Matt Carpenter. The news on Andrew McCutchen: left rib discomfort. So he has been removed from the game. He'll be reevaluated tomorrow. Meantime, Starling Marte will take over center field. 3-1 to Carpenter. Walked it. Oh, that's a strike. Wow.
Well, it was called a strike. I don't know if it was or not. That looked like it was off the plate to me. By a little bit. Definitely got a call right there.
I would say so. So that fills it up at 3-2. Ball down the left side. Snyder will watch it as it slices into the seats.
Ooh, that's quickness there. How fast she snatched that ball out of the seat.
Quick as a cat on a pup night.
Yeah, on a pup night.
Payoff pitch. Popped up and playable. Harrison wanted it, but Snyder called him off. And there are 2 gone in the 6th inning. This Sunday is a kids' day as the Bucks battle the Reds at 1:35. All kids 14 and younger take home a replica Starling Marte jersey. It's presented by Eaton Park. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. After the game, kids run the bases. Presented by Kennywood. Pirates.com will help you get your tickets. Kids Day Sunday. Starting to run out of those. Take advantage of them while they're still here. Good looking Marte jersey that all the kids need to take to school on Monday. And that's what he's got on now. 0-1 to the second baseman, Colton Wong. Pitch count up there for Cole. 96, 60 of them for strikes. He has thrown a lot of pitches as we are in the 6th inning. Last night's starter and winner, John Lackey. Strike 2 to Wong. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And now the 2-2 from Garrett Cole to Colton Wong. Ground ball. That's a base hit. The first one off of Cole. And into second base goes Colton Wong. And the no-hitter is gone for Garrett Cole. Hit number 1 for St. Louis.
A nice applause by all the fans here. Most everybody kind of getting up on their feet. Really appreciate the effort from a young right-hander. He's coming up big again tonight. Fastball inside and just tucked right over the base. The way he throws, certainly could get one of these days.
And Holiday late on that 97-mile-an-hour heater. That's a good old country fastball right there. Wow. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Oh, 1 to Holiday. Now it's 0-2.
98 that time. That might be the best one tonight. He's kind of reaching back after that hit. It's amazing how I think, everybody talks about his emotions and he's got to be a little less emotional. I think emotions are fine as long as he has them funneled in the right direction. And I think he does a pretty good job of that. He's going to come off the tracks every now and then, but who cares? He's a competitor. He loves the competition and he's going to show it every now and then. But as long as he can, when he gets back up on the mound, when he gets on that dirt surface and he's looking in for the sign, as long as at that point he focuses those emotions on his job, then nothing wrong with that at all. That last fastball, 99 miles an hour. That's laser focus.
Inside 1-2. Cole's spot comes up third in the bottom of the 6th inning. He's 103 pitches. His career high, 112 pitches. 24th of May at home against Washington in 6 innings. So his outing getting shorter. 1 on, 2 outs. 1-2 to Holiday. Struck him out. 9 strikeouts for Garrett Cole. Gives up just the 1 hit. He's through 6. 2-0 Bucks.
double with 2 out in the 6th, and your tweets regarding Garrett Cole are scrolling on the bottom of the screen. And here I am in the Bucs social media suite. Special location here. It is inside the Clemente wall beyond right field, hanging out with a bunch of my friends right here. First, we got Lauren right here. Want to say hi to Big Mike, her dad, and Irwin, and a bunch of friends. We got Aaron in here from Ohio, having a good time. We got a lot of stuff going on. Instagram, Twitter pictures, 2 TVs scrolling with all of them out here. And we have a special Twitter mirror right over here where the Pirates have been tweeting photos of fans out of their account. We're going to have Maddie here let one rip, and we're going to take a picture, all of us here. It's going to run in 3 seconds here as soon as Maddie gets it going. 3, 2, 1. Say hi, everybody. Okay, so you're going to see that on Twitter in just a couple moments. And one other thing, Tim, that's going on that's pretty cool. We have an autographed Garrett Cole photo, and those fans at home use the hashtag BucksSocial, and one of you are going to win this cool photo signed by what we hope is the winning pitcher tonight, Garrett Cole, Tim.
Well, so far so good. He's done about as well as he can do, giving up just the 1 hit through 6 full. Coltrane rolling along tonight.
Last season, he was so good at coming up with a special effort in those big ball games. He has done it again tonight.
He's got a helmet in his hands in his spot up third this inning. Social media night tonight. Big night out in right field. Marte hits it toward right field. Little flare. Long run. No one's got it. Base hit. Go back to first. And Tavares nearly threw it away. The home plate umpire had to come up cover that area while the first base umpire was out in right field. Almost got Marte's way. He did. But a leadoff single for Starling.
Marte didn't really got kind of jammed with that. You see the point of impact is almost exactly on the label, so it just didn't carry anywhere. Look out. Everybody's getting in some collisions there.
Lynn had to cover the bag, and the umpire was actually out of the way. Tavares took a shot. Here is Barmes. Drove in a run. Fielder's choice in the 4th. Throw to first. Marte back. Marte leads the club in stolen bases with 25. Barmes a cut and a miss. I mentioned how important it is for Cole to get through the 6 innings against the Cardinals, keeping him down. The Cardinals, for innings 7, 8, and 9, after the 6th, have scored the fewest runs in Major League Baseball in the final 3 innings of a game, 124. And Matheny's club did get 3 last night to win it, but they don't do that every night.
They don't like the bullpens, huh?
Cole on the railing. And then going up to hit Seth Maness, who warmed up a couple of times last night and didn't get in. Warming up again in the Cardinal bullpen. Nobody out. Marte at first in the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Barmes. Lynn has the sign from A.J. Pierzynski. There goes Marte. Put the brakes on. He started and stopped real quick. No. 2-2 now to Barmes. Third foul. Well, Parrott tried to help.
Not supposed to be on the field.
No.
Let's go. Clean off the beak. Watch the beak.
It's a beak plant. There goes Marte, and this one fouled off. Parrott needs a bird bath.
It hurt his back, see that? He's going back to the cage.
The environment pops it up foul. Matt Adams hanging with it, but that's up in the seats.
He's thinking about that railing.
Matt Adams did a face plant of his own last night. I think he might have cut his lip when he landed on the railing chasing after a fly ball foul. Right about in that territory.
Right about where the stool is, I think.
Yep. Here comes the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch in a moment as Lynn steps off. This was last night. Matt Adams and Colt Wong colliding and hitting the railing with his mouth. Armas lines it to center field right at John Jay. 1 out. Well, there was Robbie up in the social media suite, and that face you see down the lower left, that's our cameraman, Terry. How do you get in there?
That's kind of a classic with Terry peeking around the corner.
Social media lounge tonight. Hashtag Bucks Social. Get in on it. Medford, PA roots for the Bucks. Shout out to Tracy in Houston. So Garrett Cole will come up.
Try to move the runner along.
Yeah, Terry's back at work now for real. Staying out of the social media lounge now. Foul ball, strike 1. Cole looking to get Marte over to second base.
You would love to get this one down if you're Cole. One more run would be huge.
And he gets it down a little firm. Lynn will throw to first. And the sacrifice is successful. 4th sacrifice bunt of the season for Garrett Cole. Now the Pirates with a runner in scoring position and 2 men out. Tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update. The Altoona Curve yesterday, Pirates AA affiliate, placed Alan Hansen on the disabled list with a hamstring injury that he suffered last week. The infielder had recently moved from shortstop to second base. He's put a pretty good season with a bat, hitting .289, 44 extra base hits, and the minor league season coming to an end this weekend. Unlikely the end of his season, so Cole gets the bunt down, and now Marte at second. Harrison trying to drive him in. Josh 1 for 3 with a home run. Brzezinski's setting up outside. That's where it goes. Fastball at 93, 1-0. Pitch from Lance Lynn to Josh Harrison. Tampa down to third, foul, 1-1. In the 5th, Harrison got a hold of this one. Putting it over the head of Matt Holliday, the seats. Garrett Cole an extra run to work with. Pirates with a 2-0 lead.
The big one out there, Jay Hay. Knock that baby home.
Strike two. Harrison now with 44 RBIs on the season. .361 with runners in scoring position.
104 total pitches, most of them strikes, and most of them fastballs.
Shook off the first shot from Przinsky. 1-2. On the fastball, got it. Swing and a miss. Josh is out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. On to the 7th, 2-0 Pirates. Here's tonight's T-Mobile game changer, number 45. Garrett Cole, through 6 innings, has given up just 1 hit. He has struck out 9. He's been dominant tonight, Bob.
He certainly has. I mean, it's been just a showcase for him. The great fastball, throwing it up as high as 99 mile an hour, but it hadn't just been that. That slider of his tonight has been so sharp, so well located. A lot of times he doesn't get the big strikeout numbers that you would think because of his stuff, but that's not the case tonight. He is really just dominating the Cardinals. That's the only word you can use. He prepared himself for domination, apparently. Isn't that what the T-shirt used to say?
That's what it used to say, yeah. Gabby Sanchez has come out for defense and will play first base now for Alvarez. Sanchez taking over there. 1-0 to Adams. Swing and a miss. Adams has struck out twice, 0 for 2 tonight. Hits this one to the gap. That's going to go to the wall. Adams around first. Marte gunning it to second base. And Adams safe.
I thought for a moment he might come off that bag.
Double for Matt Adams, his 29th.
A little breaking ball that he tried to bring on over the outside corner. I didn't try. He did. A little backdoor pitch. And Adams right on time to drive that into the gap. A good play by Marte, getting it quickly off the wall. was in hard with that slide. Just about came out as Farmas kept the tag on him.
And a base hit for Peralta. And now 2 men on and nobody out. And the Cardinals finding ways to get at Garrett Cole right now.
It's that play at second base again where Adams started to just barely come off the back, but he was able to keep that left foot, that left ankle kind of hooked on the corner. And Russell Martin, I think, told to go out and have a little talk, kill a little time maybe.
Tony Watson loosening up. Tony might be ready.
Yeah, that's what happened. Russell Martin went out there just to take time off the clock so they could make sure that Watson was ready to go.
Well, Clint comes out to get Garrett Cole, who will leave to a standing ovation. Pirates leading 2-0. Tony Watson coming in.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
2-0 Pirates, top of the 7th, nobody out, 2 on. And it is time to light them up. Pirates losing last night, trying to even the series tonight. Garrett Cole absolutely outstanding tonight. No hit these Cardinals for 5 2/3. Cardinals have gotten 2 hits to start this inning. Cole lifted and Tony Watson takes over.
Tony Watson having a great season, obviously. Doing a good job of throwing a lot of strikes. Just 13 base on balls with all those strikeouts.
Last appearance for Watson was on the 20th. Against the Braves. Pitched a perfect 8th inning. 0-1 to John Jay. Pitch inside 1-1. Jay's been a tough customer of late. Leadoff double by Matt Adams. He's at third base. Johnny Peralta single through the left side. He's at first. Pirates middle infielders playing for 2. Watson's 1-1. Jay chased it. Good looking breaking ball.
Good looking breaking ball and a bad looking swing.
Tony inherits 2 runners here. He has inherited 9 of them this year. Just 2 have scored. Jared Hughes had the tough time in the 7th last night. And a little Tapper foul.
There'd be a big strikeout if Watson could get it right now and make sure this ball does not get put in play. Don't want Adams to score and make this just a 1-run ball game if you can. I mean, you take it out anywhere right now, but a strikeout that'd be pretty awesome.
Foul ball. Russ had that in his bare hand before.
He looked like that girl earlier. Do you remember the girl that grabbed that ball?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Look at the cat on pup night.
Look as a cat on pup night. Super Russ.
Get it.
One, 2 to Jay. In the air to center field. Adams will tag. Marte circling behind it, makes the catch. He'll throw it into second base. Cards score. It's 2-1. That run charged to Garrett Cole.
Jay is always so tough against us. I had him set up. Remember the really bad swing on that breaking ball, but Jay able to make an adjustment. Get a ball put in play. The pitch probably not where Watson wanted it, obviously. It's kind of right down the middle.
39th run batted in for John Jay.
All right, the big run's at first. That's the one you can't let score.
A.J. Pierzynski has struck out and was hit by a pitch. Threw his elbow out there at it in the 5th inning. Got away with it. Peralta back to first base. Outside to him. It's 1 ball, no strike count to Pierzynski. Tony's been scored upon just once in his last 11 appearances, and that's only the 3rd inherited runner he's allowed to score this year. Two to 1 in the 7th. Cardinals with a rare run in the 7th inning.
Went after him with that one right down the middle.
Oh, 1-1 to Pierzynski.
See where that pitch was?
Wow.
UPMC Sports Medicine Strike Zone's got that center cut.
One and 2 to the Cardinal catcher. Ready for the 1-2 pitch. Here it is. And he chased it. Strike 3. And Pierzynski with some words for home plate umpire Sean Barber. Second time he's gone down on strikes. There are 2 away for the Cardinals in the 7th.
See how quickly you forget? Now he's yelling at the same guy that let him go to first base last time when he stuck his arm in front of the ball. And it looked to me like the head of the bat, especially on that side shot, you could see it was right out there with the baseball.
Oscar Taveras, the right fielder, takes inside. Taveras tonight grounded out off the foot of Garrett Cole. He's also flied out foul to third base. Josh Harrison making a good play on him in the third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Put that one off the foot. .230. Prized position prospect for the Cardinals, just 22 years old. Inside 2-1.
No, Watson got a good fastball tonight also. Several at 95. They're keeping him in. To tie the lefty up. Setting him up for that slider. Gonna go back with the fastball again. This time they're gonna try and move it away. Tried to dot an eye out there, get a called strike. Martin had turned his head. He thought he had that pitch.
3-1, a looper to center field. That's down. Peralta rounding second, heading for third. And Marte flips it into second base. So now the tying runs at third base.
Marte might have had a shot at third, don't you think?
I think he would have.
The arm of his. I'm surprised he didn't go to third base with this.
Tavares with a broken bat flare to center field, and now you watch Peralta.
Yeah, watch where he is at. He's not all that fast. Yeah, it wasn't a slam dunk he had it out, but I think it was worth taking a shot. That tying run. Of course, if you throw there and then the go-ahead run sneaks into scoring position behind him at second, then we're saying, well, why did he throw to third?
You're right.
So, it's
can't win.
I can understand why he didn't want to do that. But he could have also ended the inning right there.
Atlanta's got a run up, but the Mets leading 3-2. Cubs ahead of Cincinnati. They started that game late due to rain. Check the out-of-town scores. The game's getting underway later. That's one to watch. Milwaukee at San Diego. San Francisco hosting the Rockies. Definitely will have an effect on the Pirates in the wild card standings. Now, Randall Grichuk just called up today, standing in to pinch hit for the pitcher Lynn. 259 in 108 games at AAA. Shane Robinson was placed on the disabled list, hurt his left shoulder sliding into second last night. Three-year-old Randall Grichuk loops one into shallow right center field, and this ball game is tied.
Well, the Cardinals are very uncardinal-like. Back-to-back nights, making a late inning comeback. Be a no decision for Cole tonight, just like Liriano. Did a fantastic job pitching the first 2/3 of the ball game. Ball not hit well at all, just off the end of the bat. Just a little number out there that falls in.
Last night in the late innings, 3 runs in the 7th inning. They got 2 runs tonight in the 7th. And from the 18th, 19th, and 20th of the month, they had 2 runs each in the 7th inning or later. But prior to that, they have had a drought in the late innings. But new ball game now in the 7th. Carpenter up. So that closes the book on Cole. Giving up 2 earned runs. Matt Adams, a leadoff double. Johnny Peralta, follow-up single. They've both now scored. Watson came in, got 2 outs, a sacrifice fly from Jay. And he struck out Krasinski. Tavares a broken bat base hit.
It's going to take him over 20 pitches to get through this inning. I mean, that strike right there was number 20.
Runners off the corners, 2 down, 1-1 to Carpenter. Now it's 1-2. Looks of concern now at PNC Park. Mike Matheny's team's finding ways to grind out games. 7-3 in their last 10. They remain within striking distance of Milwaukee, just a game and a half down. Walker, good backhanded stab. Force out at second, but 2 runs are in on 4 hits. And stretch time at PNC Park. Cardinals have tied it up. Grichuk single did it.
We invite you now to stand, follow the bouncing Eaton Park Smiley Cookie, and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Day to remember, September 4th at Stage AE Outdoors. 2-2. Go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Brand new ball game now as the Cardinals have tied it up, and now left-hander Sam Freeman comes on to work in place of Lance Lynn. He will face 2, 3, and 4 in the order: Snyder, Tabata, and Walker.
They get more strikeouts and innings pitched, but is averaging a walk every other inning, so make sure he's in the strike zone.
First ball swinging is Snyder, and he pops it up. Colton Wong will make the catch. Quick out. And Snyder is 0 for 4. 0 for 8 in the series now. Jose Tabata will come up. Tony Watson giving up 2 hits after getting 2 outs. And Grichuk, just called up from the minor leagues today, got the hit that tied it. Tabata showing bunt, getting the attention of the third baseman Carpenter. Tabata had his contract selected Monday from Indianapolis. He had 281 with 12 RBIs in 39 games there. And Tabata hits a slow roller to Peralta. 2 out. Take a look at the road ahead for the Pirates, brought to you by Nissan. Final game of this series tomorrow afternoon. The Bucks will have Jeff Locke on the hill. He's given up just 2 runs and 6 hits over his last 2 starts. Cardinals will have their ace, Adam Wainwright, on the hill. 3 starts this season against the Pirates. He's posted an ERA of 0.82. Our coverage begins at noon tomorrow with Pirates pregame. 2 outs quickly. Neil Walker at the plate. Walker 1 for 2 with a walk. Scored a run. A strike from Freeman. Walker with 17 home runs. Second most number of home runs in a single season by a Pirates second baseman, tying Phil Garner's 17 in 1977. This one's hit in the air to right center field, and John Jay will put it away and make a very quick inning of work for Sam Freeman. Just 5 pitches. Much too easy for the Cardinal reliever.
Our guest tonight on Twitter Tuesday, he was asked via the hashtag #BucksTuesday, what is a name for your fantasy football team?
Mine's plain and simple. Mine's Walkie Talkies because I couldn't figure anything else out. We try to incorporate our name somehow or a nickname, and most everybody calls me Walk, so I try to incorporate that somehow.
Yeah, not that creative, but I can give you a little bit of insight here, Tim and Bob, as to Walker's plans. He has an online draft Sunday night when the team arrives in St. Louis after the game on Sunday. And then Monday afternoon, the Pirates have a day game, Labor Day game, against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. And after that, the Pirates are having their fantasy football draft as a team for their league that's going on. So maybe we'll give you an update and see whose picks went where and who drafted first and who might win.
See who's got the most creative team names, too. Colton Wong leads off, and Tony Watson back out there to start the top of the 8th inning. Tony pitched 2/3 in the 7th. You don't often see Tony working over an inning. A strike call to Colton Wong. Wong 1 for 3. He broke up the no-hitter with a double down the first base line in the 6th inning. Bouncer to the walkie-talkie. Throws him out. Wong is gone. One gone for the Cardinals in the 8th. Let's take a look at our AT&T fan photo tonight. Keep those submissions coming. Hashtag Bucks fan photo. Ricky Harris. Shiver me timbers. Our first Pirates game. You know what that means, Bob?
Shiver me timbers?
Yeah, I don't really know what that means. What does it mean?
The timbers, I mean, that's where the mast
Holiday gets a base hit
of the ship, you know, all the way down in the bowels of the ship where it's attached.
Right.
And if you're hit really hard, you can shiver all the way down to the timbers. And so that's kind of how that saying came from.
Good try.
No, that's what it is.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm not.
I know you are.
Look it up. Google it. Ask your buddies on Twitter. They'll tell you.
Shiver me timbers. All right. Anybody knows what it means? You can tweet me.
What, do you think it means they were cold? They're cold? They're shivering?
What's that?
Does it mean your timbers are cold and they're?
I don't know.
It's shivering.
I know it's pirate talk, but I don't know what the translation of it is.
Means you've been like you're stunned. Shiver me timbers.
Maybe it's I don't know, the old time pirates with the wooden legs. They call them timbers. I don't know.
Could be, I guess.
And when they were cold,
they shivered.
I don't know what they were. Peg legs. 0-2 to Matt Adams. Ouch. Still 0-2.
Shiver me timbers. The Pirates, the timbers were shivered at the top of the 7th.
They were. Watching with a 1-2 count on Matt Adams.
30 pitches now for Tony. This is a rather extended outing for him.
To think that he'll be unavailable tomorrow for the afternoon game. Extended outing tonight. Swing and a miss, and Adams gone on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. 2 away for the Cardinals in the 8th.
Pretty good breaking ball. Put Adams away.
Johnny Peralta had a single in the 7th and scored the tying run. Pirates bullpen working. Justin Wilson, the lefty. Jared Hughes, the righty. Nothing in 1-2 Peralta. Now it's nothing in 2. First is Holiday. Clint Hurdle checking on his guys in the bullpen right now. Mark Melanson answering the phone. Does he say sorry, wrong number?
They call back later. He's the acting phone answer when there's no one else to do it.
Well, Gabby Sanchez at first base. We thought it was just a defensive replacement, but word from the Pirate clubhouse is that Pedro Alvarez has left foot discomfort. He'll undergo treatment and evaluation tonight. He'll be reevaluated tomorrow. So a foot problem for Pedro. The 2 Pirates leaving the game tonight. Alvarez out, and Andrew McCutchen had to be lifted midway through the ball game. These Pirates healthy and going. 2-2 the score, 2 down, top of the 8th. Holiday at first. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch from Watson. There goes Holiday. Swing and a miss. Peralta's out on strikes. Tony strikes out 2. We will go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Russell Martin will lead off. All even at 2. Sports Classics. Jay Bell, Rich Donnelly, Ray Miller, Bob Walk, Jim Leland, and Doug Drabeck share their stories and memories from Game 1 of the Pirates-Reds 1990 NLCS. Hear their exclusive interviews while watching the Bucs win their first postseason game since 1979. Sweet win in Cincy tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Root Sports Classics. We'll watch Walkie pitch tomorrow night. You know you're on the hill tomorrow.
I see that, yeah. Gotta get my sleep, huh?
And better. Well, he wants a run. That's no question about it. So does he. Russell Martin will lead off for the Pirates. And Gabby Sanchez and Starling Marte to face Seth Maness, third pitcher used by Mike Matheny tonight. Ball 1 to Martin. Martin with 3 hits, a double and 2 singles. Third time this season he has had a 3-hit game. 2 runs apiece, 6 hits apiece. Line scores are equal. The only difference is that the Pirates have left 8 runners on and the Cardinals 6. Pirates have loaded the bases twice tonight. Once in the second, once in the fourth. Only got just 1 run out of those 2 scenarios. Josh Harrison, a solo home run in the 5th. One ball, 2 strikes to Russ. Mets, by the way, have finished off Atlanta 3-2. Mets get the win tonight in New York. Martin strikes out, 1 gone.
Martin really got in front of that one.
Ball is down. Gabby's first plate appearance tonight. And he's trying to
quick
pitch ball to the plate quick.
Gabby got in there with his hand up and didn't seem to have an effect.
Sanchez a base hit.
He just wanted to be ready, was all.
Well, he got his front foot down and put it through the hole on the left side. Gabby's 1 for 1.
That ball wasn't down. Elevated, belt high. Belt high usually get belted.
Sanchez aboard in a 2-2 ball game in the 8th. 1 out. Marte up. Marte is 1 for 1. Walked and was hit by a pitch. He's been hit 15 times this year. Second most number of times a batter in the National League has been hit. John Jay of the Cardinals been hit 16 times. One and one. Now Melanson getting loose. Giants need to get a run this inning. Give Melanson a chance to come out for a save in the ninth. And Marte bangs it to center field. His second hit of the ball game.
Another belt high got belted. Not real good locations, and this is what happens when you don't do that. You give up line drive base hits.
Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, makes his way out to the mound.
Probably telling him right now, hey, you got to get the ball downstairs a little bit. Need a ground ball here. Keep throwing those balls up around the belt. This is going to be a loss. You got to get the ball down. But that's one thing that's really easy to see from the dugout is you can see the elevation of those pitches. You know when somebody's at the knees and working downstairs well, and it is so quickly obvious to you when those balls are up. Up mid-thigh and a little higher, and they're getting hit hard.
Strike to Barmes. Barmes 0 for 2 with a walk. Derek Lilliquist checking on the bullpen. Randy Chota, left-hander, the veteran lefty, starting to throw. Barmes to right center field, and Dave J on the run, and he will make the grab. Back to second base goes Sanchez. Barmes trying to go to the off-field gap, and there was John Jay to cut it off.
Ike Davis has made his way up.
Well, 2 on and 2 out. Ike Davis will be the pinch hitter. Davis hitting in the 9 spot.
Do you think they will make the pitching change?
I'm expecting Matheny to come up the steps any second, but no, he's going to let Manus rather pitch to Davis. Pitch to Ike. Takes low for a ball.
You got the infield, the middle infield all back. Shortstop on the edge of the grass. Second baseman well out in the grass. Gabby can get a nice lead. Needs to maximize that secondary lead so they can get a good jump to the plate on a base hit. The Cardinal outfield, especially Jay and Center, does not play very deep.
Have a look at where they are. Davis takes a strike on the outside edge, and Ike takes a walk. Borderline pitch goes Manus's way.
See, I hated that call. That's why he took that little walk. Now he's back.
1-2. Counters even. Ike's had a good number of his hits this year at 2-strike counts.
Well, he's very patient. I mean, he doesn't go up there looking to swing early very often. He likes those deep counts and not afraid to go to 2 strikes.
Gabby Sanchez represented the go-ahead run in a 2-2 ball game. Bottom of the 8th, 2 outs. Stretch by Maness, 2-2, and Ike hammers it deep right center field. Way back and gone. A pinch hit, 3-run homer for Ike Davis. How do you like that?
Wow, how exciting is this? A pinch hit home run, and this crowd is going crazy. He took that little walk, didn't like the call, got back in there, got his mind refocused, and that ball got hammered off. I think that hit the back fence of the bleachers. What a ball! Yeah.
He's got the receiving line. The fans want a curtain call.
Well, the September excitement has already started here at PNC.
It's the 7th pinch hit home run for the Pirates this year. And it's Ike's 3rd overall as a pinch hitter, his 2nd as a Pirate. First one came as a Met. It was a game-ending grand slam in April.
That was a long one.
5-2 Buccos. A hard from Ray Searage.
Way out of here.
Served up.
Change up. I think that's what yep, that was change up that he hit out.
9th home run of the year for Ike Davis.
That's what he could really enjoy too after contact. It was a no-doubter. Way out of here. I mean, what a great moment to just savor going around those bases.
Oh, Jay swings and the bat ends up out at shortstop. Ike Davis, the hero of the 8th inning. A 3-run pinch hit home run. And the Bucs lead it 5-2 heading to the 9th. He's not too happy as his Cardinals had the game tied, but a 3-run pinch hit home run by Ike Davis. This changeup served up right down Main Street.
Yeah, that ball was right there. Another pitch, it was at least close to belt high, and well, Ike immediately got to go into that trot. Look where that ball hit. Almost got over the back fence there. That absolutely was a rocket. The fans in the background.
Estimated 419 feet on the home run for Davis.
Like that bomb he hit that night in Los Angeles.
Oh, that was still going. Hit it between the speakers in center field.
Yeah.
So Mark Melancon coming out to try to save this one for Tony Watson, who's the pitcher of record for the Pirates. Seth Maness now on the hook for the Cardinals.
All right, let's put him away. We'll play the rubber match tomorrow.
With a win tonight, the Pirates would pick up a game on the Braves. In the wild card standings, Giants still to play the Rockies, and Padres hosting the Brewers. By the way, the 7 pinch hit home runs by the Pirates this year, second most in the National League. The Padres have 2 more. They've got 9. 0-1 to John Jay, coming from Mark Melancon. And a ground ball toward Walker. He's got it. 1 gone. And down 2 to go in the 9th. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Not a good feeling to come out of that bullpen and give up that lead.
He left a couple of pitches up to Gabby Sanchez and starting Marte. They each had base hits.
Yeah, he didn't locate much tonight.
And that changeup was right in the wheelhouse for Davis. 1-0 pitch to Przinsky. Shows bunt. Did he leave it out? The appeal, and David Rackley, the umpire at third, said he didn't go. So again, Watson on the other side of Maness here. And Tony, when you look at his win totals, Bob, if he does get this one tonight, he'll have the second most among relievers in the majors, and he'll have second most number of wins on the Pirates staff behind Edinson Volquez is 11. And Przinsky walks. Post-game show coming up at the conclusion of this one. Bob will be joining Rob King downstairs to break this one down for you. Oscar Taveras, 1 for 3. Singled in the 7th inning. Not holding Przinsky on at first. Sanchez playing deep, 3-run lead in the 9th with 1 out. And the crowd did not like the call of a ball. Neither did Russell Martin.
Yeah, right.
He's had a lot of conversation with Sean Barber tonight. Well, just out of the zone.
Yep.
On 0 pitch. There's the strike call. Pirates looking to even this series up with a rubber game tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals, Jeff Locke for the Pirates. Bouncer to the right side. Gabby's got it. He'll play it himself. And the Pirates are an out away from victory. Down to second, A.J. Przinsky. His run means nothing right now. And Melancon will now face a pinch hitter, David Descalso, as the folks here tonight on their feet.
A good ball game. You know, last night's ball game was a good ball game. A couple of enjoyable contests to watch. Good pitching. Long home runs. Well, something for everybody. And a win for each team so far. We can put this one away. Need 2 more strikes to do it.
Strike 1 to Daniel Descalso. Ike Davis breaking the 2-2 tie. His role lately with Pedro playing first base a lot has been to come off the bench and get one good swing, and he had one great swing tonight. Strike 2.
They were trying to go down and in, but they ended up backdooring that breaking ball right on the corner. Worked to perfection.
1 out away from win number 68. Melanson's 0-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. And the Pirates win it tonight 5-2. It is their 18th win in their final at bat this season. They had 17 all of last season.
Now these guys loved the comeback, and I think a lot of that can really be attributed to a great bench that they've had this year. They've done such a good job coming off, getting the big pinch hits, and again the same thing tonight. But the one thing we can't forget with all the drama here at the end of the ball game, what a start by Cole tonight. Had that no-hitter going for quite some time, and I mean he just dominated the Cardinals for the first 2/3 of this ball game.
Oakland Hurdles guys go to 68 and 64, back to 4 games above 500. They pick up ground on Atlanta on the wild card chase. See what happens later on with San Diego and Milwaukee, also San Francisco and Colorado. We'll keep an eye on the late night scores. So 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th for Ike Davis. Helps to win it for the Pirates here tonight. 5-2 the final score. Let's send you downstairs where Rob King's standing by.